For 50 years, the Griffin Museum of Science and Industry has hosted the nation's premier exhibition of Black art. The Black Creativity Juried Art Exhibition features over 100 works from professional and emerging Black artists from across the country, highlighting Black achievement in art, science, and technology. Now open through April 27th. For more details, visit msichicago.org. Today on CityCast Chicago, our beloved city is turning 188. Spring is right around the corner, and they preparing to dye that damn river green again. That can only mean one thing. It's time for our guy to march in Chicago. It's Thursday, February 27th. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago is talking about. I am joined today by CityCast Chicago Digital Marketing Manager, Jermaine Thomas. Jermaine, welcome back to the podcast. It's been a long time, my friend.
I know it's been so long. I'm so glad to be back.
And we appreciate you being here. I know there are a lot of people whose ears perked up. They have missed you. We are also joined by CityCast Chicago contributor Lee John Greco. Lee, welcome back to the building.
Hey, always happy to be here, Jacoby.
Hey, we have had you on the podcast to do so many different things, but this is your first guide to the month, so we appreciate you making time.
Thanks.
If you are new to CityCast Chicago, welcome, welcome. This is the daily news podcast where Monday through Friday, we're talking about all things Chicago. Seriously, in just a few episodes, we're bouncing from basement bars to the best new bars in the city. We're breaking down city council meetings, school board meetings, neighborhood development meetings, and we keep you updated on big stories throughout the week. But we like to ring in every month with a guide to some of our best tips and recommendations. Like I said at the start, Chicago has a birthday coming up next week, Tuesday, March 4th. We're turning 4 on March 17th, and we are also collecting 1,000 things we love about Chicago. So in honor of all of these anniversaries, let's start with one thing you love about Chicago. Lee, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, so, I gotta say the month of March for Chicago is great because the river turns green. It's something that's just so uniquely Chicago. There's this like mystery behind how it happens. You know, like when that dye hits the river, it's actually orange first, and then it magically turns green, and then it stays that way for like a week or so.
Chicago has been doing it for decades and decades. We did an entire episode on how and why the city dyes the river green. I don't think I've ever watched it being dyed like in person. I've seen it on the news. I've seen it in the days after, but I don't think I've ever gone downtown and stood in those crowds. Have either of you?
This is my year.
Oh, you gotta go.
Lee, do you go every year, or is this a big deal for you?
This was a big deal for me last year because I moved to Chicago in 2020. I went down I think a couple years before after they did it, but last year was the first year that I saw it happen. And I gotta say, and this is kind of bougie of me, but I got invited to a party last year that was in an office overlooking the river. And if you have a chance, if you know anybody who has an office, lives in the Corncob Towers, go to that because I'm 33. I'm too old to be out with the children on the river and the drunk people. I don't want to do that. I want to be above the crowds, like 2 or 3 floors up with a perfect view of the river. And I know I'm going to get shit for this later, but I don't care, okay?
Jermaine, is this the year you finally go down there and watch it live in person?
Yes, absolutely. And Lee, I'm the complete opposite. I want to be where the people are. That is my thing. So I'm going to be down there. I'm going to be right on the river in the crowds, all that. Cause I also moved in 2021. So it's been a couple years, and my partner went last year when I was in grad school. So I was hunkered down on my laptop working while he was out enjoying the day. So this year I'm going to be in the mix, morning drunk, all of the things. It's happening.
I love that this started as what do you love about Chicago? The river being dyed green. And by the end, there's just this split between the group of the idea of the river being die agreed, but like 2/3 of us, like, I won't be there this year to watch it. Jermaine, over to you. What is one of the things you love about Chicago in honor of our 4-year anniversary and in honor of Chicago's 188th anniversary?
Yes. I mean, is it corny for me to say like this podcast? Is that acceptable? No.
Hell no. Hell no. That is a fantastic answer. I think it's a top 5 answer.
Exactly. Top 5 there. But to add to that answer, I will also say Chicago's art scene is my favorite thing ever about the city. And just being able to go to so many different like galleries, like the smaller galleries and the larger like art institute, there's just like, the city is just like bursting at the seams with different things that people make with their hands. And I really admire that. And of course, this is Women's History Month, March. So I'm really excited for the exhibitions that are focused around women. Of course, the Southside Community Arts Center is opening up Beyond Frames, Black Women Collectors Shaping Cultural Heritage in Chicago. That opening is on Friday, February 28th, and is going throughout the month of March. And then also the Art Institute at the end of the month, they're opening up an exhibition around Frida Kahlo called The Month in Paris. So it's like stuff that she did with another artist named Mary Reynolds. That one opens up on March 29th. So we got like 2 like bookends here to go visit some Chicago art.
I love that. I want to add some more to your list. You mentioned Frida Kahlo. The Sor Juana Festival is kicking off at the National Museum of Mexican Art and is running March 8th through April 26th. In April, they're going to have a performance, Frida Kahlo, the bravest girl in the world. But all month long, they're going to be March 8th, 8 years of mariachi, Latina front women of Chicago on March 8th. That's going to be online. So that's going to be a fantastic series of events throughout the month. This weekend at the Kieran Center for Arts in Austin, they're having Struggle and Resilience, a festival dedicated to Black and Latino women in the arts. And then all month long, you can see some of the exhibits that are taking place at Art Gallery in Westtown, which is the oldest women-owned gallery in the city.
Oh, such a great list. I have a long checklist this month, so let's do it.
Kind of building off of the arts, and one of the things I said I wanted to do earlier this year is just stay committed to getting back outside, performing, taking on new opportunities. And so I've got this great opportunity coming up this month, March 10th, to be a part of Welcome to the Show, which is a live talk and variety show that's happening in Lincoln Square. It's really going to be a great show. It's hosted by Derek Bish. Sam Roca is going to be doing comedy. Dairy Queen is going to be doing comedy. Al Scorch is going to be doing music and poetry. And I'll be sitting down for a small interview. The people that are going to be featured, people like comedians, drag queens, musicians and poets, the people who are like myself trying to thrive in this city using our like creativity, our arts. And it can at times be a very difficult thing in this city to be an artist. But the way people come together to celebrate each other, to put these type of events together is one of my favorite things about the city. So I'm really excited to be featured in the March edition of Welcome to the Show. Back for a second year due to popular demand, Black Creativity Night Out returns to the Museum of Science and Industry on Friday, March 21st from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. This over 21 event is part gallery walk, part function, and it's going to be a great time, y'all. Get an exclusive look at the Black Creativity Juried Art Exhibition, plus many of the museum's most popular exhibits without all of those crowds. Celebrate Black creativity in all its forms with featured artists from the Juried Art Exhibition, amazing performances, and a lively dance floor. The evening will highlight Black creatives from the Chicagoland area and beyond. You don't want to miss this unforgettable night of culture and enjoyment. For tickets and more information, visit msichicago.org. I've got some great Chicago theater you don't want to miss. Steppenwolf Theater revives Fool for Love by Sam Shepard. Perhaps the sexiest, most haunting play of the 20th century, Fool for Love is a twisted, tequila-soaked love letter from one of the greatest American playwrights, indulging the need to get inside someone just to tear them apart. The Sun-Times and Daily Herald gave it 4 stars, and the Reader calls it an exhilarating acting showcase. The show is peak Steppenwolf with searing performances and masterful direction and a revival of this eerie, ominous, and beautiful masterpiece. Fool for Love is on stage now and extended by popular demand through March 23rd. But don't wait. Get tickets now at steppenwolf.org. Every month, we want to give people our best tips for surviving Chicago this month, enjoying the city this month. Jermaine, let's start with you. What's your best tip for getting through March?
Yeah, indeed. You know, we have come through the Arctic tundra in Chicago, and it's so easy to be fooled by like once it's like not like -10 or like 4 or 5 degrees anymore. You see like that first mid 40, like mid 50, and you're like, ooh, it's about to get serious. Like I'm about to take this jacket off. I'm about to take these gloves off. I'm about to take this hat off. Don't. keep the jacket, keep the gloves, keep the hat, because baby,
don't put them under the bed yet or in the storage closet.
You're not doing the Midwest boy like shorts and hoodie weather, because I feel like once it hits 40, every single guy is out there. Or like I saw even in the dead of winter this year, I saw a bunch of people running, and all I can think about is that YouTube video of the runners that are like, it's the perfect texture, and then they immediately eat it. Don't run. Don't run in Chicago when it's like that.
Bring out the treadmill. Like I'm saying, it's not to say that life stops when it's cold in Chicago. Like definitely still like go outside and walk carefully.
Ice skate too.
Yeah, ice skate, like definitely that. But I'm telling y'all, I went out with like no-show socks last night in my shoes. Terrible idea. Keep the socks, keep the gloves. Like it might be a little warmer. You're right, but we don't have to get too wild now.
I ain't gonna hold you, G. I'm fully outside. I went for a 3-hour walk earlier this week. You couldn't tell me it wasn't June outside. I walked the lake. I think I walked from Soldier Field to Navy Pier, all the way back.
Wow.
And this month, we also back outside in terms of outside sports. This weekend is the home opener for the Chicago Fire. The Chicago Red Stars have 2 home games this month, towards the end of the month. But we back outside for soccer. The Cubs home opener isn't until April, but following up the worst season of all goddamn time, the hope is it can only be up for the Sox, who have their home opener on March 27th, which just happens to also be my mother's birthday. And I think equally important, the day LeBron James comes to town to play the Chicago Bulls.
Ooh, so much going on that day.
Yeah.
My mom is not going to lock hearing that. She was like, excuse me, what'd you say there? What was that part about? Equally important? No. But again, you got the Sox, you got my mama's birthday, you got LeBron James in town, all on the same day. And so, Lee, over to you. What is your best tip for March?
Yeah, so I'm going to keep on a St. Patrick's Day theme throughout this whole podcast, if I can.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, right? I know by my last name, people probably think I'm mostly Italian. I am, in fact, part Irish as well. So, you got to get that vaguely ethnic white person mix of like, I'm a little bit of everything, so I can dip in on all the holidays. But anyway, yeah, Southside Irish Parade, that takes place Sunday, March 16th at noon. It's going to kick off at 103rd and Western Avenue. I went to this for the first time last year. And actually, even before the parade, I was invited to a backyard mass, yeah, Jacoby, I'm seeing your face right now. Like, what? How do you think I'm going to meet my future
Chicago.
Catholic husband?
Okay, you got to go outside. You see him
gotta
outside.
go outside. Yeah, you gotta go outside. I was
in the backyard.
I was doing a story at the time about Irish politicians in Chicago, and a Cook County commissioner was like, you gotta come to this family's mass that they have before the parade. So I thought like maybe like 30 people were gonna pull up to this. There were like over 100 people packed into like, picture like a typical Southside bungalow house, the backyard of that. Like it's not big, it's not small, but like they had a tent and everything. There was overflow from the tent. Like I couldn't get inside. There was like a little band there and everything. And then they had breakfast in their basement. And like I remember at one point there was just like this one table in the back with like all these like little redheaded children, and this mom is like, Sean, and like 5 heads whip around. Like, it was like so Irish. But it was really lovely, and it's cool because it's like, again, it's this super Chicago thing where it was like this family event, but then, you've got like these like aldermen and commissioners, and State Rep Cam Buckner is like playing football with his kids. And I'm like, so it's like really fun. And then, yeah, you just walk a couple blocks to the parade. Again, Jermaine, I know you were talking about like, I want to be where the people are.
Indeed.
Like there are people at this parade. Like it is crowded, but the crowds are only like 2, maybe 3 people deep, depending on where you are there. Like the bars are going to be really crowded, but like, I like that. I like that I can like move around a little bit more. And, I think it's like just slightly less commercial too than the downtown parade. It's still got like all your like politicians and your, union floats and everything, but it's just like a little more of a neighborhood parade. So I like that feel. And then we headed over to another friend's house, and they were having a party in their front yard, and they like rented a fire truck that went around the neighborhood. So like, yeah. So like, this is what I'm about. A couple other shout outs for some other St. Patrick's Day events. If you really want to, get under the reason for the season. Because I think a lot of people think that it's all drinking, but, St. Patrick's Day, obviously, the heart of it is this celebration of a Roman Catholic saint. It's celebrating Irish heritage, and it also sort of has, this feeling of like Irish liberation as well. So I definitely encourage people to go over to the Irish American Heritage Center over in Mayfair. They are going to have events almost every single day of March. So whether you want to go to kind of the traditional Irish jam session, or if you are Catholic and you celebrate, Lent, of course on Friday, Catholics don't eat meat during Lent. So fish fries are really popular. Those are done at Catholic churches all across the city.
I was going to say Block Club Chicago, I think last year put together a list of a whole bunch of parishes across the city, from St. Christina Parish on West 110th Street, Holy Name Cathedral, Immaculate Conception of St. Michael Parish, and so many others, St. Andrew, that hosts fish fries typically every Friday throughout the month of March. So I'm sure they'll have an updated 2025 list soon.
Yeah, so I would definitely check some of those out. And then another group is Chicago Irish for Palestine. They don't have events posted yet on their Instagram page, but they were organized around the time of the DNC. And they just had an event in February that was a jam session that was raising money for a GoFundMe after a Palestinian-owned cafe was vandalized twice over in Uptown. But, if you're interested in why is there this Irish group that is, closely allied with Palestine? Irish people over in Ireland actually feel very close kinship with Palestinians, in part because of the shared history that the Irish and Palestinians have under British control. And, even to this day, the Irish politicians like the Sinn Féin have expressed solidarity with Palestine. So again, if you want to go past kind of just like the drinking and the revelry of St. Patrick's Day, go check out some of those events and go beyond the green beer.
One of my tips for this month was going to be about the fish fries as well, and some of the other events. Similarly, in the realm of religious observances, March is also the time when a lot of our Muslim brothers and sisters will be observing Ramadan. So this is a great time to learn more about the holy month. We did an episode last year where we visited the Muslim Community Center in Old Irving Park during a community iftar, which is the evening meal in which people are able to break their fast for the day. And we talked about what it meant for people to be volunteering and doing service work during Ramadan, people coming together and seeing more individuals both in the community, but they also hold interfaith and non-denominational community iftars as well. well. So it's a lot of time where people are coming together. And then my final tip is going to be, this is the last month where you don't have to worry about the street sweeping schedule. And I learned quite a few times last year how notorious Chicago's street sweeping tickets and towing can be. That starts April 1st and runs through October. And so I would take this month to learn your schedule. They do have a very detailed map. You can learn the time window in which the street sweepers will be in your area. It isn't every single you can't mark it like every single Tuesday or every single Thursday. So you should get a good idea of when that starts up in your area to prevent yourself from being ticketed and towed like I was all of last year.
Did you get towed too?
I did. I did get towed because of the street sweeper.
Did it end up on like lower whacker?
Yes, it did.
Oh,
yes, it did. I think I talked about that in my guide to October maybe. And so here I am yet again trying to tell people, pay attention to the various parking signs around the city of Chicago. This is the last month of winter parking bans, though. So, we're going to go from one series of banishments on the street to a whole nother set. But hey, just pay attention, y'all. Before we get out of here, we like to end every single monthly guide with the thing we are most looking forward to trying, whether that's eating or drinking. Leah, I'm gonna start with you. What's something you're looking forward to eating this month?
Okay, so once again, this is like a once a year thing, right? You don't eat this really any other time of the year, but you gotta have corned beef and cabbage, right? Which, again, is not really an Irish thing so much as an Irish American thing. It started because when Irish immigrants moved to the U.S., when they were living in places like New York City, for example, they were living very closely with Jewish immigrants who were selling brisket. And so that was, fairly inexpensive for them to buy. And so that's why we have corned beef and cabbage now. I go to Paulina Market over here in Roscoe Village. They have everything there. They have all the fixings and everything. And another reason why I like going to something like the Southside Irish Parade or any of these like morning, early afternoon events is like my ideal St. Patrick's Day weekend is go to Mass, go to a parade, come home by like no later than 4:00, make some tea, have my early dinner of corned beef and cabbage, and just relax with like a good St. Patrick's Day theme movie. So, put on The Quiet Man, or another perfect Chicago St. Patrick's Day movie, of course, is The Fugitive, which is also playing at Facets this March. That is playing on March 14th.
I love that we got something to eat and a movie to watch all in one. I appreciate you so much, Lee. Jermaine, over to you. What is something you are looking forward to eating and or drinking during the month of March?
Yes, indeed. I gotta go back 1 second because Lee, you mentioned that corned beef is something that folks only eat in March, and me being from Cleveland, that like corned beef is a year-round staple. Like literally
is
the
that
corned
sandwich?
beef, the corned beef, mustard, and cheese. I'll eat that any day of the year.
Oh, on a sandwich for sure.
Yeah, I love it.
Anytime I go to Manny's, like a couple months ago, had to fast before a procedure at U Chicago. And when I got out of it, my dad was with me and I like grabbed him. I'm like, we need to go to Manny's.
Like it's a must. It's a requirement.
I was like, I was like getting out of I was like coming out of the drugs and I'm like, is Manny's still open? He's like, yeah. I'm like, call and get me a corned beef. Like that's going to be my dying wish. Like that's going to be my last meal is like a corned beef.
Manny's corned beef right there. Top tier. Yeah. So other things I'm looking forward to eating this month. I walked past a new restaurant in Hyde Park on 55th called Mahari. It's kind of like African diaspora, kind of things. So they do stuff from like West Africa and like America, the South and the Caribbean and all that. And I was checking out their menu and they have a Caribbean lamb burger. It's a lamb burger, and then it has grilled pineapple, pickles, lettuce, and smoked Gouda on brioche. And I've never, it's kind of like rough because I'm like, okay, pineapple on pizza is like a thing that people argue about every single day. So is it going to be like a barnstorm fire when people talk about like pineapple on burgers? Like, is this going to start a new revolution?
I think pineapple can be really good if it's balancing out something that is
Yeah.
savory. And I think like with meat, it's really good. I always go back and forth on lamb though, because I do love eating lamb. And I remember one year at Easter, like our local TV station did a hit where they were holding a baby lamb named Agnes. And I was like, I'm never going to eat lamb again. And then I went to a Greek restaurant the next week and I was like, you know what's looking real good right now
Real good is that lamb.
that little
rotating
baby
on that
Agnes.
spit.
So like, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I'm gonna, when I go, it will be a Caribbean lamb burger on my plate. Because I'm trying to see what's going on.
I was going to say, I saw a tweet the other day that was like, you can't go to a black restaurant in Chicago without some overpriced lamb chops. So I'm like, I really can't even avoid lamb chops. And
So
if it's on the
true.
menu, I'm probably going to try it eventually. So
Yeah.
sorry, Agnes.
Sorry. It was so fluffy. Oh my God. She was so cute.
Poor
but then
baby.
I'm like, then why do you have to be so delicious? I'm sorry.
I will round us out. I actually have, I think, 3 things I'm really would like to try this month. One is Bronzeville NOLA being curated by Yum Diva and our friend Sam Thousand at the Charles Hayes Family Investment Center at 48th and Wabash. And they're going to have New Orleans cuisine from Mabe's Sandwich Shop, along with live portraits. They're going to have music, a live brass band. And so if I can't get over there, just some form of like New Orleans cuisine. I was planning to go back this year, but pivoted and decided to go somewhere else. And so I still want to get my like New Orleans, but also like Carnival, kind of like Fat Tuesday kind of feel this month. So that's one thing. Another one, I'm taking pottery classes up in Logan Square at Penguin Foot all March, every Saturday. And so the classes are like 11 a.m. And so I'm going to be trying to get up there early. And my hope is to try and have breakfast in the neighborhood. And the breakfast burrito at Aromo Cafe looks
Ooh.
really, really good. I have never been there before, but their menu, and I'm not really like a coffee drinker, but like a pistachio and rose latte, just like the name of it makes me want to try it. I don't even think it's gonna like I'm gonna like it, but somehow I think it's gonna be good. Does that make sense?
That's how I feel about Peeps at Easter. Like,
Mm.
I need them to be there in the Easter basket, but like I know I don't like them, but like I kind of force myself to eat one every year, just kind of like I'm like, maybe this will be the time that I like it. So it's like you do it just
Maybe
to.
this is the one. And then a place that I don't know. I'm actually a little surprised that I still haven't been because it's been mentioned so many times on the podcast. But in honor of Pie Day and it also being around the corner from Penguin Foot Pottery, I've never been to Bang Bang Pie, and
What
I
have you been
really
doing?
would like to try their cherry crumble pie or their chicken pot pie or both of them at the
All
at
of
the-
it.
in the
Just
same
get all
visit.
of it.
Just
Sweet
all
and
of them.
savory, you got to.
Yeah, you have to do
Mhm.
both.
And so that's one that I plan on trying while I'm in that neighborhood pretty consistently this month. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I want to give a huge thank you to our guest today, CityCast contributor Lee John Greco
Hey, thanks.
and digital marketing manager Jermaine Thomas.
I'm so happy. This has been such a great time. Thanks, y'all, for having me again.
You're the best. Before we get out of here, make sure you bookmark our website, chicago.citycast.fm. There you can subscribe to our daily newsletter, Hey Chicago. Check out our events calendar. You can also sign up to be a member. The members heard a little message earlier in the episode that, some of y'all ain't really get to hear. And I know what you're thinking, Kobe. A tote bag and a message. I'm finna give you my coin. Yes. What'd you talk about? Yes. One more thing, some good news. Respect the Mic, the city's most intimate open mic, is back tonight at Positive Space Studios in Logan Square. They're gonna be hosting their first ever out-of-state feature as well, so it's gonna be a very, very special night. Please check the link in our show notes for more information. As always, I appreciate you for listening, reading, being here, riding with us. Even if you're listening on 2 times speed, 1.25, 1.5, however you get down, I appreciate you getting down over here with us. Peace. Simone said you got to roast the peeps. Thank you, Simone.
Roast like over a fire? Like roast?
Like over open flame. Mm-hmm. Got to get a good char to it. So you can saute it.
I think we gotta do a peep show. Sorry, a show.
I saw on your face before you said it that you knew you was trying to say it.
A show about peeps. An episode about the theme is peeps, not this is a family podcast.